mas-temiwaza and yoko-temiwaza. Each technique is executed from both sides. The kata were established to help understand and master the theoretical basis of judo. This is a demonstration of Nage no kata filmed in the late 1920s. The tori is Master Nagaoka, who was at the time an 8-dan holder, and the uke is 5th-dan Murakami. Harai goshi. Okuri ashi harai. The execution is sharp and spirited. This film was made in the days when the tatami area was not necessarily 50 mats, nor was the position of the judoist specified. Nagaoka later went on to become a 10th-dan holder. His genius was acclaimed, and he was known especially for his sharp execution of yoko temiwaza, and in particular ukiwaza. Let's begin by watching the entire Nage no kata. The tori is on the left and the uke is on the right, facing showmen. After executing a standing bow, they turn and face each other and make a kneeling bow. They then stand and take one step forward with their left foot to assume shizen hontai, or basic natural posture. They advance to enter into tewaza. The first of the 3 tewaza is ukiotoshi. The tori breaks the uke's balance to the front and pulls him down forcefully to throw him. Make sure to perform the kata in the center of the dojo, and each technique should be executed from both directions, left and right. Seoi nage. As the uke comes forward and aims a downward blow at your tento, or the top of your head, you seize the uke's arm and throw him. Kata guruma. Use your hips to lift the uke on his shoulders and throw him forward to the corner. After finishing the 3 tewaza, you return to your original positions and quickly adjust your uniforms with your backs to each other. You then proceed to the 3 koshiwaza. Ukigoshi involves twisting the body to throw your opponent. Harai goshi. Press your hips firmly against the uke's abdomen and throw him by sweeping upward against his leg. Surikomi goshi. Lower your hips and press them against the uke's thighs to throw him. You then proceed to ashiwaza. Okuri ashi harai. Make sure to sweep both feet so that it does not become a deyashi harai. Sasae Tsurikomiyashi. It's important to break the uke's balance by turning your body outward and pulling strongly. Uchimata. The tori tends to grab the uke's collar at the back, but the correct way is to take the front collar. The three must demiwaza in the kata are tomoe nage, ura nage, and sumigaeshi. The three techniques are performed consecutively at a fairly brisk pace. The main point in tomoe nage is to lower your body and break the uke's balance to the front. Uranage, arch your back and using the action of your hips and arms, throw your opponent by lifting him up over your shoulder. Sumigaeshi. It's important to break your opponent's defensive posture or shibotai while maintaining your own. And now for the yoko demiwaza. These are yokogake, yokoguruma, and ukiwaza. Yokogake. Break the uke's balance completely and slam your foot under his ankle bone to sweep his foot. Yokoguruma. Make sure not to move your feet after completing the throw. And now for the last of the 15 techniques, ukiwaza. Lower your hips onto the mat and break your opponent's balance to throw him towards the corner. After completing the series of 15 techniques, you return to your starting positions, adjust your judogi, and face each other, assuming shizen hontai or basic natural posture. In unison, take one step back, starting with your right foot, and stand. After executing kneeling bows, stand and face the front, make a standing bow, and exit. Let's begin by looking at the salutations. To make the standing bow, stand up straight and bend forward from the waist to an angle of about 30 degrees while sliding your fingertips down to slightly above your kneecap. make the sitting bow, place both hands in front of your knees so that the index fingers of both hands are facing each other and are about 6 centimeters apart. Let's look at the bows from the side. The angle of the standing bow is about 30 degrees. Kneel on your left knee with your toes placed on the floor and follow with your right knee. To the sitting bow, bow from the waist so that your forehead is about 30 centimeters above both hands, making sure not to raise your hips. Place the toes of your feet on the floor and stand, starting with your right foot. The first keiwaza is uki otoshi. Each technique should be performed from both directions, the left and the right. Start from a position about 60 centimeters apart. On the third step, you break the uke's balance to the front and throw him by pulling hard. Note the position and angle of the tori's feet on completing the throw. The angle should be about 30 to 45 degrees. The main point of uki otoshi is that you pull the uke down as he takes his third step. After completing the throw, you should fix your gaze ahead. Next, seoi nage. As the uke aims a downward blow at your tento or top of your head, you press your back against the uke's chest and abdomen to lift and throw him forward. The uke steps forward with his right foot and raises his fist above his head to aim steadily at your tento. Note how the tori uses his left hand to ward off the uke's arm and lift him on his back. Step forward with your right foot and take a firm hold of the uke's arm just as he's about to aim the downward blow. Press your back firmly against the uke and straighten your knees to execute the throw. Besides the seoi nage, there are 3 other techniques in which the uke aims a downward blow at the tori's tento: uhigoshi, uranage, and yokoguruma. The third keiwaza is kataguruma. On the second step, switch your grip from the uke's elbow to the middle inner sleeve and take a big step back. Then lower your hips to lift him up and throw him to the front corner. And now from the other side. Note the way the tori uses his left hand. He grips the uke's inner sleeve with the fingers on top. In kataguruma, you press your nape against the uke's hips to lift him. You won't be able to lift the uke properly unless you lower your hips and press your nape against his hips. Because the tori has not lowered his hips sufficiently, the position of the head's too high. Compare the position of the head with the correct form on the left. A common mistake is to grip the uke's pants to lift him. The correct way is to press the palm of your hand against his leg without grabbing the pants. On being lifted, the uke should straighten his knees so that his entire body is straight. He supports himself by pressing the palm of his hand against the tori's back. After finishing kataguruma, you adjust your uniforms and move on to koshiwaza. Ukigoshi involves twisting the body to execute the throw. From a position 1.8 meters apart, the uke steps forward and attempts to strike your tento. Before the blow connects, you pull his hips towards you and twist his body to execute the throw. This is rare footage showing the founder of judo, Master Jigoro Kano, as he teaches students the ukigoshi, a technique he was particularly fond of. He emphasizes the importance of twisting the hips to execute the throw. Next, haraigoshi. The important thing to remember is to sweep upward without bending your leg. After taking 2 steps, slip your hand behind the uke's back and brace his balance to the corner front. Then press your hips firmly against his abdomen and sweep upwards with your leg to execute the throw. This shows how you break the uke's balance. Remove your hand from the uke's front collar and slip it underneath his arm and behind his back to pull and break his balance. When sweeping the uke's leg, keep your leg straight and sweep upwards. And now, Surikomigoshi. Grab the uke's rear collar. Be careful not to grip the front collar, which is what quite a few people do. The main points are the movement of the feet after taking the 3rd step, and the lowering of the hips so that they're pressed firmly against the uke's front thighs. Let's take another look at the tori's feet and the way he lowers his hips to lift and pull the uke. Surikomigoshi is the only technique in the nagewaza in which you grab the back of the collar. Moving on to Ashiwaza, starting with Okuri Ashiharai. On the third set, sweep both of the uke's feet in the direction in which he's moving in an upward curving motion. Be careful not to contort your body when sweeping the uke's leg. Sweep the uke's feet right beneath the ankle bone in the direction in which he's moving. Be sure to sweep both feet to distinguish this from Deashi Harai. The main points of Sasai Tsuritomiyashi are to turn your body outwards and pull hard to break the uke's balance. Move back in Tsugi-ashi and open your body so that your toes are facing inward. As the uke comes forward, apply the sole of your foot right above his ankle and throw him towards the back in a big circular motion. Let's watch it again. Next, Uchimata. The main point of Uchimata is to advance diagonally on the third step. On the third step, draw the uke back in a wide circular motion. As he's about to shift his weight to his front foot, break his balance to the front with both hands and press the back of your thigh up against his inner thigh to sweep him. Note how the tori takes his third step and the timing of the sweep. The right clip demonstrates a common mistake. Compare it with the left and note the tori's supporting foot. When grappling, the tori grabs the uke's front collar. There's a tendency to grab at the back of the collar, but this is incorrect. We now move on to the last semi-waza. Tomoe nage involves lowering the body and breaking the uke's balance to the front. Once you've started grappling with each other, you should try and push the uke as soon as possible. The uke resists by pushing back. At that moment, put your left hand under his arm to grip his front collar. Then bend your right knee to lower your body and place your right foot on the uke's lower abdomen, raising your toes as you do so. Pull the uke towards you in a downward arc with both hands and throw him over your head. Note the tori's posture as he breaks the uke's balance to the front. Because he's too erect, his belt is level with that of the uke, making it difficult for him to break the uke's balance. Now watch the correct posture on the left. As you can see from the height of the belt, the tori has bent his knees sufficiently so his center of gravity is low, enabling him to break the uke's balance. As the uke resists by pushing back, his feet become aligned with the tori's right foot. At that moment, the tori steps forward with his left to enter into the throw. The uke does a forward roll and stands. Uranage involves using the action of your hands and hips to lift the uke up to throw him behind you. As the uke aims a downward blow at your tempo, extend your left foot well behind him to avoid the blow, draw his hips closely towards you to lift him up and throw him over. Take a close look at the tori's hand. The left hand is placed alongside the back of the uke's belt. The palm of the right hand is placed against the uke's lower abdomen. The final must semi-waza is shunigaiki. When breaking your opponent's jikotai or defensive posture, it's important to maintain your own. While pulling your opponent forcefully upward with your right hand, take a big step back with your right foot to break his balance. Maintain body control so that your belt is parallel to the floor. This shows how to grapple in jikotai. Slip your right hand through your opponent's armpit and place the palm on his back. Your hips should be slightly lowered. Apply your right instep behind your opponent's left knee to throw him. And now the last of the nage no kata, yoko semiwaza. Yoko gahe is a technique in which you sweep hard against your opponent's foot. Be careful not to sweep from the side. Watch the sweeping action of the foot. When taking your second step, break your opponent's balance by pulling and turning his body halfway towards you. As he steps forward with his right foot in an attempt to maintain his balance, bring your right foot up next to your left and slam your left sole under his right ankle bone to sweep his foot. The foot should be right under the ankle bone. Watch the uke's feet. When he loses his balance, his left foot comes behind his right. Yoko Guruma. As your partner comes forward to aim a downward blow at your tento, you slide your leg in between his legs and throw yourself onto your side to throw him. Your opponent bends over hard to avoid being thrown by Uranage. Take advantage of his posture to break his balance to the front and slide your right leg in between his legs and throw him over your left shoulder. Observe the timing of the moment when the tori breaks the uke's balance and slides his leg in between the uke's legs to throw him. The uke should make it clear that he's bending forward to avoid being thrown by Uranage. The tori's feet should remain fixed after completing the throw. This is a bad example of how the tori's feet moved after the throw. And now, Ukiwaza, the last of the three Yoko Tsutemi waza. Grapple in Jigotai as in Sumigaeshi and take a big step back with your right foot. As the uke steps forward with his right to maintain his balance, slide your left leg out in an arc and use both hands to throw him. The uke steps towards your left thigh and does a forward roll to stand. As you break the uke's balance to the front corner, straighten your left leg and drop your hips to fall on your left side. After completing the 15 techniques, you return to your starting position and adjust your uniform. You then turn to face each other and take the basic natural posture, Shizen Hontai. In unison, take one step back, right foot first, stand straight and make kneeling bows. Simultaneously stand, turn to face the front and make standing bows and exit. Finally, let's watch the Nage no Kata performed by fifth dan holders Takasuka and Mukai at the 1996 All Japan Championship. Ushiotoshi. The Tori breaks the uke's balance to the front and pulls him down forcefully to throw him. Nage. As the uke comes forward and aims a downward blow at the Tori's tensile, the Tori seizes the uke's arm and throws him. Kataguruma. The Tori uses his hips to lift the uke on his shoulders and throws him forward to the corner. Uchigoshi. This involves twisting the body to throw your opponent. Haraigoshi. The Tori presses his hips firmly against the uke's abdomen and throws him by sweeping upward against his leg. Urikomigoshi. This involves lowering the hips and pressing them against the uke's thighs to throw him. Okuri Ashiharai. The Tori makes sure to sweep both feet so that it does not become a de Ashiharai. Pasai Surikomiyashi. The Tori breaks the uke's balance by turning his body outward and pulling strongly. Uchimata. The Tori must make sure to grab the uke's collar by the front. Tomoe Nage. The Tori lowers his body and breaks the uke's balance to the front. Uranage. The Tori arches his back and, using the action of his hips and arms, throws the uke by lifting him up over his shoulder. Sumigaishi. It's important for the Tori to break the uke's defensive posture, or jigotai, while maintaining his own. Yokogake. The Tori breaks the uke's balance completely and slams his foot under his ankle bone to sweep his foot. Yokoguruma. The tori must not move his feet after completing the throw. Ukiwaza. The tori lowers his hips onto the mat and breaks the uke's balance to throw him towards the corner. The founder of judo, Master Jigoro Kano, emphasized the importance of both kata and randori, comparing their relationship to that of grammar and composition in writing. The nage no kata are based on theory. Proper practice will enable you to master not only the forms, but the principles upon which they're based. Practicing the kata is a way to train both the body and mind, helping you to master the essence of judo.
The kime no kata consists of 20 techniques to attack and defend. 8 are idori techniques that are employed while seated, and 12 are tachiai that is used when both people are standing. The kime no kata were established in 1888 to help master the most effective techniques for serious competition. By studying the kata, it is possible to understand and master the theoretical basis for attack and defense, thereby allowing one to move quickly and apply the most appropriate techniques to control the opponent. The tori is on the right and the uke on the left are seen from the front. They face each other, standing about 5.4 meters or 6 mats apart. Together they turn towards the center and do a standing bow. They face each other again, sit and bow. The uke picks up his weapons, turns around, walks back 1.8 meters, and sits. He places the weapons in front of him. He stands and returns to face the tori. Yosei-dori. The uke attempts to grab the tori's wrist. The tori kicks the uke in the solar plexus with the ball of his right foot and returns the uke with Ide Hishiki Washikatame. Kake. The uke aims a punch at the tori's solar plexus. The tori dodges the blow and punches the uke between the eyes and follows with Ide Hishiki Haragatame. Kiriage. The uke thrusts the palm of his right hand up against the tori's forehead. The tori kicks him in the solar plexus with the ball of his right foot and twists him down onto his face, controlling him with an arm lock. Yokouchi. The tori evades the uke's attempt to strike his left temple and pushes the uke down on his back. He then strikes the uke in the solar plexus with his right elbow. Ushiro-dori. The uke grabs the tori from behind. The tori rolls to his left as if performing seoi nage and punches the uke in the groin. Komi. The tori evades the uke's attempt to stab him in the solar plexus and punches the uke between the eyes, following with Ude Hishigi Haragatame. Kirikomi. The uke attempts to slash the tori's head. The tori catches the uke's wrist and controls him with Ude Hishigi Wakigatame. Yokotsuki. The tori deflects the uke's attempt to stab him in the side and punches the uke between the eyes, following with Ude Hishigi Haragatame. Having finished the xvid technique, they move on to tachiai. The uke and tori stand up together. In tachiai, the techniques to attack and defense commence from a standing position. Yosei-dori. The uke attempts to grab the tori's wrist. The tori breaks the uke's balance to the front and kicks him with the ball of his right foot, following with an Ude Hishigi Wakigatame. Sodo-dori. The uke grabs the tori's sleeve, forcing him to walk forward. The tori kicks the uke in the knee to the outer side of his left foot and throws him with an Osotogari. Kake. The uke lunges forward and tries to punch the tori between the eyes. The tori evades the blow and steps around behind him to apply Hadakejime. Kiage. The tori evades the uke's uppercut and takes his wrist, controlling him with Ude Hishigi Wakigatame. Kuriage. The uke tries to strike the tori's forehead with the palm of his right hand. The tori evades the blow and punches the uke in the solar plexus and throws him with Ushigoshi. Yakouchi. The uke tries to punch the tori in the temple. The tori dodges the blow and steps behind him to apply Okuri Erigime. Keiage. The uke tries to kick the tori in the groin. The tori avoids the kick by catching the uke's ankle and twists his hips to the left to kick the uke in the groin. Ushiro-dori. The uke grabs the tori from behind. The tori throws him with Ippon Seoi Nage and strikes him between the eyes with the side of his hand. Komi. The uke attempts to stab the tori in the solar plexus with his dagger. The tori evades the strike and punches the uke between the eyes, following with ude hishigi haragatame. Kirikomi. The uke attempts to slash the tori's head with his dagger. The tori parries the strike and applies ude hishigi wakigatame. Nikigata. As the uke attempts to draw his sword, the tori restrains his wrist and steps behind him to apply kata hajime. Kirioroshi. The uke raises his sword high above his head and attempts to slash the top of the tori's head. The tori evades the blow and catches the uke's wrist, pulling it towards his right hip, and follows with ude hishigi haragatame. The uke holds his sword in front of him, in the gedan position, and returns to his original position. He sits in seiza, takes the sword with the tip, and places it on the floor. He then picks up the sword and dagger with his right hand, stands, and turns to face the tori. They sit and bow to each other, after which they stand and turn towards the front to do a standing bow and exit. Let's look at the beginning of the kata. The uke holds the sword and dagger in his right hand, with the sword on the outside held at a 45-degree angle. Both blades should be turned upward. They turn to the front and bow. Then they sit facing each other. The uke lays his weapons beside him, making sure that the dagger is on the inside. He and the tori bow to each other. The uke picks up his weapons with the dagger on the inside, stands, turns around, walks back 1.8 meters, and sits in seiza. He holds the weapons vertically in front of him, and with his left hand supporting the sword, he lays the weapons down to the left on the mat. Both blades should be towards him. The uke and tori stand simultaneously, after which the uke returns to his former position facing the tori. Together they move forward, starting with their left foot, stop, and sit. Atemiwaza are techniques used to attack vital points by striking, kicking, or thrusting. Since the kimono kata were established to master the most effective techniques for serious competition, the kata include atemiwaza which are not used in nandori. In order to be able to execute atemiwaza with precision and speed, it is essential to understand the location of the vital points and the parts of the body with which the attacks are executed. Let's look at the vital points. Uso, between the eyes. Kasumi, temple. Suigetsu, solar plexus. Kokan no Kyusho, groin. The parts of the body used as weapons are the outside edge of the hand, as in a hand chop, the fist, the padded area beneath the little finger with the fist clenched, the elbow, the foot, the thick belt or ball of the foot, and the knee. With Atemi Waza in mind, let's take a look at the main points of the Kimi no Kata. Yo Todori. The two move to within 90 centimeters of each other, stop and sit. While seated, they advance to within 2 fist widths of each other, what is known as the Hizazume no Mai or Hizazume position. The Tori breaks the Ike's balance to the front and kicks in with the ball of his right foot, following with Ide Hishigi Washigatame. The Ike attempts to grab the Tori's wrist. The Tori pulls his hands back and breaks the Ike's balance to the front. He then kicks the Ike in the solar plexus with the ball of his right foot, and taking hold of the Ike's left wrist from below, traps the arm with his right armpit to apply Ide Hishigi Washigatame. Notice how the Tori breaks the Ike's balance. He pulls his wrist backward and out to break the Ike's balance to the front. When applying Atemi with the ball of his foot, the Tori should kick the Ike in the solar plexus. If he is too close to the Ike, he may sometimes apply Atemi with his kneecap. Once the Tori has succeeded in controlling the Ike indicates Mayuri or surrender. In Kimi no Kata, this may be done by patting the Tori or the mat twice, depending on the technique. Kake. From the Hizazume position, the Ike shouts and attempts to punch the Tori in the solar plexus. The Tori dodges the punch and pulls the Ike's right arm forward to break his balance and punches him between the eyes. He then immediately takes the Ike's right wrist with his right hand and with his left grabs high on the Ike's right lapel to restrain his neck and locks his right elbow with Ude Hishigi Haragatame. When applying the arm lock, the Tori should grab high on the Ike's right lapel, draw the Ike's right wrist towards the joint of his right side, and press his lower abdomen against the Ike's elbow with the back of the Ike's hand facing up. Furiage. The Ike thrusts his right hand up at the Tori's forehead The tori deflects the blow, pulls the uke down on the mat, and locks his right arm. The uke thrusts the palm of his hand up at the tori's forehead, making sure that his fingers are together and extended. The tori deflects the blow and breaks the uke's balance to the front. At the same time, he kicks the uke in the solar plexus with the ball of his right foot and twists the uke down onto his face. The tori pushes the uke's right arm up, presses his knee against the uke's elbow, and completes the lock by pulling slightly with his right hand. Note how the tori uses his hands. He places his right hand on the uke's wrist and his left under the uke's armpit and immediately applies a tennis. He then brings his right knee down and twists the uke firmly down onto the mat. This is how the tori controls the uke's arm. The tori should make sure not to be on his toes. The tori pushes the uke's right arm slightly above his shoulder. Yokochi. The uke shouts and strikes at the tori's temple. The tori ducks under the uke's arm and steps forward, using his arms and neck to restrain the uke in katagatame and pushes the uke down. Immediately following with atemi in the solar plexus. From a different angle, restraining the uke's right arm, the tori's left hand presses the back of the uke's right hip to push him down. His left hand now presses the uke's right elbow, and his right elbow strikes the uke in the solar plexus. Now the two sit about 1.2 meters apart, facing each other. The uke stands and walks around behind the tori from the right, stopping one pace directly behind him. He then sits and draws himself towards the tori. Ushidodori. The uke grabs the tori from behind. The tori rolls to his left as if performing Ippon Seoi Nage in Makikomi and applies a tennis. The uke shouts and puts his arms around the tori's upper arms. The tori loosens the hold by raising his arms to the side, grabs the uke's upper arms and rolls to his left as if performing Ippon Seoi Nage. He follows with Ushiro Kesagatame and punches the uke in the groin. When rolling to the left, the tori slides his right leg back between the uke's legs. The uke advances on his knees and takes up his sitting position behind the tori. He then stands and walks around the tori's right side till they come face to face in koma, 1.2 meters apart. Now the uke stands and goes to get the dagger. He places the dagger blade up inside his jacket. He then returns to sit facing the tori. He positions himself 45 centimeters from the tori and then they can proceed to tsukomi. The tori evades the attack, punches the uke between the eyes, the uto, and locks his elbow. The uke grabs the scabbard from outside his jacket, unsheathes the dagger blade up, and strikes at the tori's solar plexus. The tori evades the attack, raises his right knee, and punches the uke's uto with his right fist. He takes the uke's wrist with the same hand and pulls it towards his right thigh. His left hand grips the uke's right lapel to apply a stroke, while the uke's elbow is locked with Udo Hishigi Aragatame. Note the attorney to the uto. When applying attorney with a fist, the back of the hand should be facing down. The tori grips high on the uke's right lapel with his left hand, and with his right takes the uke's wrist and draws it towards his right hip to apply the lock. Kirikomi. The uke reaches inside his jacket to remove the dagger and sticks it in his belt on his left side. Here, the dagger is used as a substitute for a short sword. Note the way the uke sticks the dagger in his belt. The tori should evade the uke's attempt to smash the top of his head, deflect the strike, catch his wrist, and apply the lock. The uke frees the dagger with his left hand, draws the dagger with his right hand, steps forward with his right foot, and shouts as he tries to slash the top of the tori's head. The tori pivots to the right on his left knee and controls the uke with Udo Hishigi Wakigatame. In applying Wakigatame, the tori should grip the uke's wrist with both hands, twist the arm so that the little finger is turned up, and lock the arm by pulling it forward at an angle.